Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the second episode of Shut Up, Bert. It's cringy, I know, but you need to stop laughing at me.
Okay.
Welcome to the second episode of Locker Room Talk. Today, we'll be talking about a pretty current topic. It's coronavirus edition. So, as
Great.
always, I'm Ryan.
Yep. I'm Tyler.
I'm Robert.
I'm Brian.
I'm Sean.
Yeah, special new guest right down here. I know he hasn't been here in the first episode. He couldn't join us because he was busy. But
Yeah.
let's hop
Yep.
right into it. We have a nice order that we're going to start with. Football. What do
get
we think
into
they're
it.
doing for coronavirus? All right, I guess I'll start.
You start.
Um,
You did the background.
We
Yeah.
already know that they'll be doing
Check.
a fully automated version of the draft, which is coming up soon, and it was also in our last episode, link in the description. But that is not the only thing that they are planning on doing. They still have hopes, and Roger Goodell still has hopes that the whole season will be played. They don't intend on doing a shorter schedule. They just want to push it back. If that means that the Super Bowl gets pushed back 2 weeks, they're fine with that. They're just going to go business as usual. They don't intend on pushing anything back from what I've seen. And that was according to CBS and Fox and NFL.com. So I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Well, I believe the season's gonna start on time. Personally, just because I think the all the commissioners for each of the sporting leagues met with Trump. I think it was either during this week or last week, but he told them that all the football season should start on time and all the fans should be in attendance by September.
Yeah, I heard that as well. The only thing though that I'm skeptical about is like how they're gonna handle the training camp, because that's kind of like the gateway and like first contact where teams get to practice. And they were talking about either canceling it or cut it or like splitting it.
Oh, bye,
And
Sean.
then the playbooks. Like I noticed that the teams like just sent, like they had to send their playbooks remotely because the fact that you can't communicate or leave, and then the draft going virtual. It's gonna be weird, but it's the only way to save the draft is by going virtual.
It's gonna be like a fantasy football draft.
pretty much, especially
Yeah.
when you throw in the Madden
handled.
virtual players that EA Sports is doing. It's gonna
I
be
also
weird.
think
It's gonna be
there is. I also think that that's a really cool idea.
How bad? I
I think it's a waste of time
I
for
turned my computer off. By the way.
EA. Why did you turn your computer
I
off?
did that by accident. The button's on the side, man. I was trying to
Dumb.
fix the angle.
Dumb. So I think that's actually the idea of that is wicked cool for being able to like televise that kind of stuff. I think it's a waste of EA's time. Madden is not the best game, so they should be spending time working on that instead of making these.
Wow, shots at EA.
Well, I mean, the game's pretty much the freaking same. Almost.
It is. It's
By the way, EA, please sponsor us.
please sponsor us. EA. This video is made possible by our sponsor, EA Sports. It's in the game. So
Someone else quit?
So that's actually all I have on football. I could not find anything else, but I think
Yeah, you go.
I have to put the season at least a delay, maybe a week, because I don't see training camps and preseason, which typically starts in the summer. I don't see that being able to start on time. And
Definitely not.
players obviously you can't just go from your leisurely day, maybe your occasional workout, to hardcore hitting and everything like that in a week. You can't just go straight into that, especially for the contact sport that football is. So I think it might get delayed a week just because of necessities for training camps.
I have a question, right? So you know how athletes right now are pretty much sitting home right now, right?
Yeah.
They're not
Yeah.
usually doing their workout. Do you think it's going to affect their play next season?
Oh, I absolutely think it's going to affect their
Absolutely.
play. Because they're not they may be able to get into the mental state that they're in because, I mean, they have really no other choice. They're at home. They can't really do much else.
Yeah.
But obviously a lot of these athletes have gyms, but I don't think they're used to it at this time.
Yeah, they're like not working out as hard as they
Yeah.
usually would if they go to a gym.
But
Yeah,
you
and
guys,
then
you
the
go
players
ahead.
like they were like right now they would be getting ready for like workouts and talking to their new teammates. Yet I just saw an Instagram video of Russell Wilson throwing a plush football to his little kids. Like, I don't know,
Brian,
man.
he has a
You got to
family.
do what you got to do to be prepared.
Yeah.
We're
But
cutting it out.
I think it's just gonna affect the rookies mostly. Like I think
Rookies.
the
Yeah, more
players that were already in the league, I think they'll be fine. They'll be able to get back up to speed quickly. But it's gonna be the rookies who get affected the most by this.
I definitely think you're right with that.
So I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a slow start with all the rookies at the beginning of the season.
Right.
Right.
Wait, I have a question for you guys.
Go for it.
I read a report. I'm pretty sure one of them is from Adam Schefter himself. And you know how the draft is supposed to be on like Zoom or whatever, right? Like teams be calling players through Zoom.
Yeah.
He said that a lot of teams are worried that other teams will hack those Zoom calls. So what do you guys feel about that?
I just think that would be stupid. if
Zoom
they
isn't
did.
the most secure platform.
It
Yeah,
isn't.
I'm
My
gonna
teacher
hack
got
the
hacked,
Giants
too.
and pick an O lineman. That's what I'm gonna do.
It's not the most secure, but ultimately, the people at the top are gonna have to. They're gonna have to be the ones who make that decision. Obviously, we can't affect anything like that. They're gonna have to figure out how to make it work for them. I know this is kind of unprecedented. We've never had to do anything like this before, but it's up to the teams to make it work, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys think they're gonna try to implement something new in the draft this year? Like, do you think they'll give the teams extra time, or
think
something
so.
else? Another idea
think
is
so,
adding
too.
maybe
I
an
think they have
extra
to.
2 or 3 rounds, which
It's
is
a whole
what-
different process.
Wait, rounds or minutes?
I don't
To,
know
like,
about rounds.
Yeah, like rounds, and report that more rounds can come out. Like they'll
do you
add
mean?
like 3 extra rounds in the draft.
So like
Well,
10
Like,
I
that's
don't know
what-
about the
Oh.
minute
That
thing.
that was what the Steelers GM wanted. Like he requested that, but
rounds?
I think like add 3 extra rounds.
I
But
don't
I don't think
know-
they're gonna do that. I think
Yeah.
they'll give extra time, but
They
I don't
should
think
give
they'll
extra
give
time
like
because
extra
it's a new
rounds.
process.
I
Yeah,
definitely think extra time because you're gonna have to, instead of actually being in person with people you're talking to, you're gonna have to do over Zoom, which is actually the source that you're using. Sponsor, by the way, Zoom sponsor us. So obviously it's a little bit more difficult and it's gonna take some getting used to. So I think maybe an extra minute per pick.
Yeah. Also, it's gonna be harder to make a trade in the draft. So
Yeah.
I think if they want more trades to go on during the draft, they gotta extend the time.
Yeah.
Maybe like from
Agreed.
10 minutes, make it like 15 minutes.
Especially because the GMs are going to be like they have full control. Like they're going to need time to like call the people in their war room because right now they're being in like their team's training facilities. So it's like they're going to need the extra time to talk things over because the draft is like one of the ways other than free agency is boosting your team. And it's a heavy financial decision and you're going to need all the time in the world to make the right decision. So I don't know if they'll do what the Steelers GM wants to add extra rounds, but I definitely think they should get more time to make their picks.
I
What
agree.
happens if one team like internet just crashes during the draft? That'd
Yeah,
be hilarious.
That's
You're,
tough for them.
tough
They,
luck
they
for
go
them.
to Madden's auto drafts. The best
Madden
player
auto
that
draft.
Madden says is in the
Best
draft.
player available.
So, yeah.
Yeah, best player available.
It's a very Browns thing to happen, though. Now that I'm thinking
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, definitely.
That could happen to the Browns.
That would
All right.
happen to Browns.
Just classic
Could see
Browns.
Gettleman
That not happen to the
looking at-
Dolphins. We have 3 picks.
All right. So I don't have anything else on football. I have a ton of stuff on baseball if you guys want to move on to that, though.
I love
I'm down.
baseball. Yeah.
All right. Baseball
Yep.
it is. So we are going to start with the most recent reports coming straight from the commissioner of baseball that they are working with the Players Association on playing in Arizona's stadium in front of empty crowds, maybe implementing some of the other changes that I also have listed down here. But just reactions on that. What do you guys think?
Like, are they just gonna be playing at one stadium in?
Yes. All 30
Arizona?
teams will be staying in the Arizona area, and they'll be playing every single game at the Diamondbacks Park.
I just
I
don't
don't
like
know
that
if that's
idea.
gonna work.
I don't
When
like
are
that
they
at
trying to
all.
start that?
What?
Like what date?
Very soon. They said within the next couple weeks.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how that's gonna work out.
I don't like that.
Like all 30 teams, like 30, right?
Yes, all
31?
30.
Yeah,
31.
30. Wait,
30?
31 teams?
No, it's 30, Sean.
It's 30?
No, it's
Sean.
30.
Oh,
What?
fuck.
Okay, well, 30
15
teams.
each
Like,
conference.
I don't know how they're all gonna share one field. Like, I
Yeah.
just can't imagine that.
Especially like a practice schedule. I don't know how that's gonna work, but
Like, that means they're gonna have to have games like back to back.
You know what? Who's ready for some winter baseball in
that
December?
actually, Tyler's point about back-to-back games goes into another topic that was brought up by the MLB and is currently being discussed, which is the idea of double headers every game, and on top of that, 7-inning double headers.
I like the 7 innings. I
Seven
can't
innings is a good
stand
idea.
9-inning games.
Oh,
Like, I'll tell you, I was watching the World Series last year. I fell asleep after the 3rd inning, so I need it shortened for me. If I want to watch a full baseball game, they gotta break it down to either 6 or 7 innings.
So,
I mean,
go ahead, Ramos.
I definitely I disagree about your reasoning, but I agree in the fact that it should be shortened just because only there's so many games in the season, and just 9-inning regular games won't work. So I think 7-inning doubleheaders is the best solution, as also condensing the season. Like, instead of 162 games, I don't know a fair number to be, but I definitely don't think you should do the full.
Ramos, no, not again.
Glitching out.
another one bites the
Again.
dust, guys.
season.
I think they'll cut the season in
And
half.
they're playing it
So-
spring
Oh, there,
training.
he's back.
He's still going. Just let him go.
So what I've heard is that the possibility of maybe 100 games
Shortening
around
the season.
in that area of 100 game season.
And what are they
No.
usually playing
I'm fine
at?
with that.
100 and what?
62.
Yeah.
Okay, that
Come on,
sounds
put your
fair.
phone down.
That sounds fair.
I've-
Make the games matter more. Every game matters.
Exactly, because then
that point.
also you play a lot more inside of your division. So division races, especially with the AL East, where you have the Red Sox, the Yankees, the Rays, which is supposedly, we don't know for sure because the season's not been played. It was going to be considered the tightest division this year. So, especially all the NL East as well. Both Eastern divisions are going to be very tight. So you play more inside your division, and those games now mean more. They're shorter, so each inning counts more. So I think it's not a terrible idea, and it's time to experiment, especially because they're talking about trying to make the game shorter, making more interest with the fans.
Yeah.
And speaking of making the game shorter, extra innings is another thing that is being talked about, where I think Nolan Arenado was the one who brought it up. Sorry, I'm glancing at my notes, but I
All
don't
good.
remember who exactly it was who suggested instead of playing out extra innings, they're going to have a home run derby at the end of it.
I like that idea.
I think it was
because
Justin Turner.
the home run derby is one of the more watched events in the MLB. So not only would it bring them viewership, but it would, you hope for extra innings even.
No.
But-
Make it a home run derby, but only allow the pitchers to hit.
That's a
Madison would
that's
win.
a great idea. The
Win.
Giants win every extra inning game.
Dude, I just want to see Bartolo Colon partake in one of those.
It's actually
He's not
beast
in the
again.
league
Oh my
anymore.
God.
We
Not
have
even
10
the
minutes
league.
left, guys. We have
No.
10
He's not in the
minutes
league.
left.
When did he
For,
retire?
Yo,
Thanks.
Ryan.
The
Real
free
2
question.
years ago.
Who retired?
See,
Did they
Cologne.
See, I
did
don't
they
watch
announce that
baseball.
they're cutting the MLB salaries yet?
What happened?
They're cutting MLB salaries, right? Their
So I
players?
heard, now that we're talking on the salaries,
Sorry about that.
you're fine.
no, you actually brought into, so really good segues. I like that you're asking questions because then it brings me back to my notes and it makes me sound smarter. So thank you.
You're welcome.
So the salaries they're talking about, you still have to pay out, but they're going to affect the luxury tax this year. So that's not going to reset or anything. And a year of work is going to come off your contract. So with the Dodgers, how that's going to screw them over is that they just traded all these top tier prospects for a rental in Mookie Betts. And they're going to, he's only 1 year. So they traded all these prospects away. And if they keep it, you lose a year of work. So that entire contract is now over. He goes right to free agency. And the Dodgers trade away all these prospects for absolutely nothing.
Oh, that's how they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Sucks for them.
That sucks.
That's
If they win a World Series, though, I think they'll be happy.
Yeah, but the whole thing is,
Yeah.
what if the season gets canceled? Because
Yeah,
they're
then
not.
they'll be
They're
screwed.
talking about if the season gets canceled, they're not gonna. And for the Yankees, who just signed Garrett Cole for 10 years, 10 years,
That's
you
9
lose
years.
coming off of the best year of his life as a Cy Young.
Yep.
Hey,
What
but at
else
least we get Luis Severino back.
Wait, what
He'll no
about
longer be
Herman?
injured.
What about Herman? Is he
Domingo
still sus-
Herman, his suspension was for a certain amount of games, and if they haven't been able to play that amount of games, his suspension isn't over. So if the year gets
That
canceled,
sucks.
the next year that they play, he's still going to have to sit out 62 games.
That sucks. Oh.
See, I like that you guys keep bringing this stuff up because it makes me seem so much smarter because I looked it all up. So thank you. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Any other
Um,
notes you have on
what?
baseball? Any other notes you have on baseball?
Later
Said you have a
start
lot.
is one of the things that I'm seeing. We talked about the fact that
Yeah.
there would be no fans, and they were considering, even if it goes back to normal, where they would not be playing in Arizona, they're considering.
When was the
ending up-
season supposed to start?
When was it supposed to start?
Yeah.
Last week?
March 31st.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
somewhere around there.
I was so sad when that happened. When someone was like, when
Well,
someone was like,
we had tickets to opening day at Yankee Stadium, so I would have been able to go technically, because I was home for Coronacation. Love it.
fornication.
Coronacation. Gotta love it.
I was gonna see some Padres games this year, but
Oh no,
yeah.
Bert.
That's so tough.
The
I
thing with
wasn't
our
gonna go to any
school,
baseball
if
games.
the Red Sox suck as much as they did last year,
Which they will, hopefully.
I was able to get $5 tickets, like decent seats to Fenway Park for $5.
I'll take that.
So that's
Yeah,
the
we can all wear
cost of a
Yankee
train.
shirts.
The cost of a train is $8.50 one way. So the ticket itself would be more expensive than the train ticket.
Damn.
Wow.
It's nuts. Or the ticket itself would be cheaper than train ticket. But that's all I have on baseball. Do you guys have any closing thoughts?
The season start, man.
I just want the Yankees to win the World Series again.
It'll
Dude,
happen
don't
soon
even,
enough.
don't
you
even with
worry.
the, don't even with the Houston Astros.
At
Oh,
least,
cheaters.
at least the Yankees will
Cheaters
have
to their
Another
core.
Stanton.
podcast.
We'll have
But
Stanton
that can be
and
another
Judge
episode,
Foley
so-
field.
Yep, I'm not gonna.
we don't need to go into that now, but I have my notes here. So where's my pen? We have an idea for another episode. Keep talking. I'm just going to write.
Yep.
All right.
Wow,
Well,
that's the microwave doing from last episode.
It was the toaster oven,
Ooh.
and it is no longer on fire. So
That's
Hey,
that's a good
congrats.
sign.
at least your house won't burn down.
My
anymore.
house didn't burn down. My brother was dumb, over toasted his toast. Some of it burnt too much, got overheated, set itself on fire, set the toaster oven on fire. So
You
it
know,
was.
You know, I made toast today.
Did you make
Good.
toast today? Was
It
it
was
good?
good, man. Yeah, I like
It was good. Okay, well, as long as your toast was good. I'm happy
Yeah.
knowing your toast
My
was
toast was great.
Any closing thoughts on baseball? All right, so hockey. We're going to talk about that now. That's the next one
Yes.
I have. Unless you guys
Yeah.
have any more questions, we want to talk. Any other thoughts about baseball? Last,
I
closing
think we're all
thoughts.
right.
I think
We're
we're
good?
all
I think we're good.
All
We're
right,
good.
so hockey time.
Yep.
Yep.
I have 4 different
Scenarios.
scenarios that have been suggested by different teams.
Yep.
And you're going to be able to tell really fast who suggested the first one, which was declare the winner of the regular season who would win the President's Trophy. Declare them the Stanley Cup winner.
Nope.
It's going to be really easy to guess who said that one, right?
Don't do that.
That was for Boston.
The Boston Bruins, who
Well,
the
we're not
president-
doing that. That's
who would
probably
be
the
the
worst
President's
idea.
Trophy winner. I think it's a terrible, awful idea
It's biased too.
What's the point of that?
because then they
That
don't have to
season,
play
man.
the rest of the season.
And they're
Yeah.
gonna get knocked out anyways because they usually win.
Yeah, they're
Whoever
scared.
Yeah, they're
They're
scared because
scared.
whoever wins that usually gets knocked out.
That's
anyways.
true. They have a very
Poor.
it's very
So that
unlikely.
used to be the Capitals thing.
Yeah.
What happened?
That used to be the Capitals thing, winning the regular season and then
President's
getting
Trophy,
bounced
yeah,
out.
choking.
Same thing with the Predators.
Yep.
Actually, I'm pretty sure the last 15 years, the team who's won the President's Trophy lost in the playoffs. Something like that.
I didn't
So
know that.
the Bruins just don't want to have to play in the postseason.
So they don't lose. They win. They automatically win. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This one was not suggested by anything official. This one was just suggested by somebody who I will not say the name of, but they wanted to roll the season because right now some teams have played 72 games, some teams have played 68 games, and it's kind of unfair to the teams that play 68 games and not in the playoffs. But they wanted to roll everyone's record back to 68 games. because then it would all be on a level playing level, I guess.
How would they do that? They would take away
You'd
the
take away the
extra
most,
games.
like the extra wins, the extra losses, all the points. You would lose those.
Okay.
In theory, it's not bad, but teams that are on winning streaks, that just earned themselves to playoff spots, how is that fair to them, right? They played the way their
Yeah.
schedule was designed.
Yeah. Not really fair to those teams.
Yeah. Teams who have played the minimum games that they were in their schedule but didn't make the playoffs, it would be, quote, fair to them. But, I mean, you played the way your season went, and unfortunately it didn't work out the way you wanted it to. So I don't think it would be fair to teams that went on hot streaks that ended up pushing into the playoffs like the Blue Jackets did. I believe they're in the playoff spot by 1 point because of a recent win streak. So I don't think that is probably the best idea. It's just an idea that people are talking about.
I wouldn't go with that idea.
Yeah.
I don't think it's smart to do
You guys
that.
don't think so?
Yeah, you can't be taking away those games for those teams that worked hard for those
I
wins.
agree. I totally agree.
Like
Bert,
if my
Well-
team was on a winning streak, it's the Devils, so we know that would never happen for us. But if it was, I would be pissed as a fan if the NHL just comes down and they're like, oh, we're going to take away some points from you that you guys earned towards the ending of the season. From when we stopped. That's just stupid,
Yeah, I agree.
in my opinion.
All right, so the first two scenarios, we don't think so that are going to work. And then
No.
we have this third one, which is the most universally accepted, is just start the playoffs as is. No changes, no extra games or anything. Just get right
There's
to it.
one change I would make to that scenario.
Don't
ahead.
even say the Devil's making it.
No,
Stop
The Devils
that.
get an automatic bye to the Stanley Cup.
all 31 teams go into the playoffs.
Tyler, you're getting ahead of yourself because that was the next scenario you picked.
And that's my favorite scenario.
Honestly,
The
Because
thing is,
my team actually makes it to the playoffs.
so does the
And that's
Rangers.
all I want.
Low key though, that
Ooh.
would make it very interesting.
So
Yeah, hold a neutral site.
you're just skipping right past the scenario that really had the most meat to it, and not
Well,
letting me talk at all about the
They're
one
like
that had
they're
actual
like the same
research done
exact
for it.
scenario because it's both just
So
it's either like
the one about starting the playoffs as is that
The Rangers
I guess
aren't in
it's the most fair. I guess the teams that played their schedule, they got into the playoffs, they played their games, and they made the playoffs, and they just go as is. Unfortunately, it sucks. The teams that didn't get to play the remainder of the game. It's a shortened season, but obviously this is kind of unprecedented. We've never heard about anything. The 31-team playoff scenario was actually suggested by Devils player PK Subban.
oh yeah.
Of course,
Um,
that was good, but-
So he suggested that it actually work for the playoffs and the draft lottery. Is that you play
Not
a
a bad idea.
two-way tournament where the winners bracket would go on and they would play for the Stanley Cup Finals, and the losers bracket you actually have to win games to get a higher draft pick. But the way that it's set out there is that the team that has a lower seeding would get a handicap. So they would get like a certain amount of goal lead if they were low in the losers bracket, not in the actual tournament. But they would get a certain amount of points ahead as a lead to help them get a higher draft pick. What do you guys think about that?
My
as
favorite idea.
entertaining as the 31 playoff format would be, it doesn't make sense in multiple ways. First of all, the most obvious way is mathematically how that happened. Because with the addition of Vegas, there's an uneven amount of teams in the league.
It would have to be
So-
buys.
So
Ramos.
there would be a bunch of different buys,
there
and
would
it
be
would all be
buys
really
for higher
fucked up.
seeds.
Or just
but-
the best team in the league right now gets a bye.
That
And
would
then,
not-
like,
No, because then
who
it
you
doesn't work
play,
because
it's
then there's
always going to be uneven. And then first of all, hockey has always meant to be like in the playoffs a best of 7 game series. But if they do this 31 playoff format, they're thinking of doing a best of 1, and they're matching it up by seeding.
Here's what you
So
can
then-
do though, is that to counter that, where it's supposed to be a 7-game set, is that the playoffs are supposed to end in March, or not? They're supposed to start in March, which is now. which is
Well,
unfortunate.
April.
But
It's,
Which
it's
was
April now.
past.
yeah,
Couple
that's what I meant.
Yeah,
weeks
it's
ago.
April now.
Is that if you
April
started it relatively soon, like they were talking about in the MLB starting their whole Arizona thing soon, you could end up just having the only downside is that would be you'd probably have to get rid of travel days. You'd have to travel and be able to play the same day.
That's
Well, they're
Um,
gonna be playing at neutral sites, so there won't really be any traveling going on.
That's an even better point. If you play at neutral sites, no home field, no home ice advantage, kind of takes away the purpose of being a higher seed there, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
also just like, what if you get that like, because they're gonna be like eliminating like by conference and just doing like by standings. So then what if with you do like these travel days, you get rid of them and stuff? You could potentially see Detroit, the worst team in the league, by over 30 points, dethroning somehow the Boston Bruins with the only team in triple digits in points.
It's not gonna happen though.
The New York Islanders, who aren't even a
That would be
playoff,
awesome, though.
beat them 8-1, Brian. I don't think the Devils
You
are going
never
to do
know.
anything like
The thing is
that.
about like the playoffs, especially in hockey, like hockey is one of those sports where anything can happen. Listen, will it happen? No. Could it? It could.
You have to think
Imagine
about it
the
under the
story
scenario
though.
that just about anything can happen. And it would make a hell of a story. But
Remember
I
when the
think
Blue
either
Jackets,
way,
they're all talking about, oh, they were in last place at one point in the standings and they won the Stanley Cup. That was a
just
big
like
thing.
the
The
St. Louis
Blues in
Blues last year,
January
who were
were
last
last
place in
place.
January and won so many consecutive games. And guess what? They're Stanley Cup champions. So
Exactly.
I think it would make a hell of a story. And also, I think regardless of what happens, this season's kind of going to have an asterisk next to it. Everyone's going to be like, oh, 2020, that was it was shortened because of a plague. So I don't think that even if the Red Wings somehow miraculously ended up being the winner of the whole thing and they won the Stanley Cup even with the worst record in the NHL, no one really is going to take it seriously. Obviously, they're going to have it. It's not going to be stripped to them, but it's going to always have an asterisk next to it.
But my question is for you guys, no matter which format they go with, and I think they're going to pick the one with where they go straight to the playoffs. That's my opinion. So my
I
question
agree.
is,
Yeah.
do you think Gary Bettman, the commissioner of the NHL, will give players like a 2-week kind of like training camp to get time to get back into shape and stuff? Or you think they just go straight like
No,
they
they can't.
announce
They,
the playoff?
I think you have
Nah.
to, especially
They
in
have
a
to
physical
do a training camp.
sport
Yeah,
like
you
hockey
have
is.
to.
You
You
kind of
can't-
have to.
you can't go straight in.
Yeah,
and
You have
I
to
don't think in
prepare for all
any
that stuff.
sport really. It'd be kind
Yeah,
of hard.
You also gotta get that team
team
chemistry back
that's right. That's
Yeah.
another
that
good
you
point.
lost.
Mates, yeah.
It's true. Listen, no one's doing like anything right now, so there has to be a time where they can get back into the rhythm.
Yeah, no, they're just taking
Yeah.
shots in their house right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're right now they're probably in their basement working with some stick and puck. I saw a video of it might have been Jonathan Toews who was practicing his stick work with his puppy trying to take the ball away from him. So that was how he was doing it against his defenseman, which was his puppy.
Yeah.
That was adorable, by the way. If you want to go watch it, I don't know where it'll be.
On his Instagram, probably.
Probably on his Instagram, but I don't know if it was Jonathan Toews. I can't be sure. I think it was.
I'm just hoping they do the 31 team format. I just want to see my team in the playoffs.
Listen,
That
my
was so
team wouldn't be
dope,
making the playoffs unless they did that too. So I think it'd be really entertaining, but I
So
don't.
we agree.
I don't
Wait.
think it would be feasible as a legitimate.
Sean, you'll see the
way
Rangers
to do it.
finally in it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, but
See, give the fans what they want.
Okay.
Would
look.
they?
You
Though,
have to think that is a good factor for entertainment and everything, but you also have to think on the ways like it's not just about entertainment, it's kind of about the sport itself. It's that like you can't just be it's not really the time for drastic changes to the sport. Nothing's really wrong with it. They're not looking to globalize it. It's already a pretty big sport in Russia, Canada. It's starting to grow in China. So
Sweden, Norway,
well, they're not very good at it, but Finland is really
Europe.
good at it.
Finland, yeah.
So is Sweden. Norway,
Sweden.
not
Yeah.
really.
Norway, you don't think Norway's good?
Absolutely not.
They used to be, not anymore.
Mhm.
Switzerland's
That sucks.
okay.
Swiss.
Czechoslovakia or Czechia.
They're like kind of like the European countries a little bit too.
Mhm.
there's the Czech
Um,
Republic.
weather-
Wow,
the weather there.
Yeah.
I think it's Czechia. I think it's
Okay.
Czechia. They
Czechia.
don't like to be called the Czech Republic anymore. It's
Czech
Slovakia.
Republic, right?
It's Slovakia and Czechia.
Czech Republic?
Some weird shit like that. But
You said-
geography is an episode for another day because
Wait, what'd
right
you say?
now we're
Czech-
coming right to you guys
Czechia.
with basketball.
What's
That's
that?
right, the grand
Yeah.
finale.
Yep.
You love
Let's
the
go.
energy, right? That was what I was going for.
I like the energy. I feel ready to talk about basketball now.
So, you know what? I'm going to open it to you guys. What do you think? We're going to start with that. I know I have research and everything. What do you guys think is going to happen?
They're gonna
Well,
cancel the
one
season.
thing that I heard that was mentioned was they were talking about just going like condensing the season or canceling the season. But players have vocally admitted that they don't want to cancel the season and they want to play for the fans. LeBron James, probably the biggest spokesperson of the league in terms of having the most power and most popular player, has said there's not real, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember his exact quote, but he said there's no point in playing in front of fans. There's no point in playing basketball if you don't have any fans, which it sucks. There's not really much you can make of the situation, but I get where he's saying. And as a huge basketball fan myself, and I played basketball, but like not nowhere obviously to the level he has. But I can always
Obviously.
I
understand.
thought you could beat
Obviously.
Russell Westbrook 1v1.
Yeah, or you could be
Yeah, he doesn't
LeBron
have
James
heart.
too.
Wait, didn't he not have heart?
But I could always
No heart.
like understand the point of like players thriving off of the fans and how it dictates the game, especially with like momentum shifts. Like it thrives off the fans. Like with basketball, it's gonna be weird watching basketball, no fans. So like I feel like though, like you have to keep the season going just because of the circumstances. But it's gonna suck. But you got to get through it. Learn how to play without fans. But I think going straight to the playoffs would be the best case scenario because like the top 8 teams make the playoffs in each conference, and pretty much I checked the standings a few days ago. Pretty much the top 4 seeds, the top 4 teams in each conference are pretty much set anyway. So it's only those bottom tier teams that are like in contention, and they're not, and like they'll probably get bounced by their opponents anyway. So I feel like, and since the playoffs would have started now anyway, I feel like the easiest scenario is just go straight to the playoffs.
What do you guys
I
think?
like that.
I
I
like that
like
idea
going
a
straight to the
lot.
Brian,
playoffs.
you're
Go
wrong
straight.
though.
Whatever
about
teams
those
are in
top
the
4
playoffs
seeds.
right now, I think just keep it with that.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And just go right to the
Um,
playoffs.
Okay, so
But they can go to a neutral site, and I think they have to learn to play without fans.
they have 4 possible scenarios that at least I could find. Is that maybe they cancel. That's like a good possibility. Is the rest of the season it's just over, nothing. Another one is just to pick up, depending on when this whole thing ends, is they'll just pick up right back where they left off. A third would be they play at a neutral site to finish out the season, and then with that new results, they'll play the playoffs at the sites. And the final scenario, which I actually found was the most interesting, and I think it's actually really cool, is that the end of the season is canceled, no more. So it kind of goes towards your guys' idea, which is jumping right towards the playoffs. But the top 4 seeds would get a buy into this, right? They're already in.
Mm-hmm.
But the bottom 4 seeds and the 4 seeds that are just outside of making it would play a play-in tournament. And the winner of that play-in tournament would get to be in the playoffs, and then the playoffs would go on in Las Vegas. What do you guys think of that?
That sounds interesting, that idea.
Honestly, that sounds
it more
pretty
exciting.
interesting. I feel like it would bring more entertainment to the game. And this kind of goes back to Ryan, what you said about the hockey thing. It's pretty much every sport, regardless of whether they pick it up or not, is going to have an asterisk into it. So, like, I feel like if you're not going to, like, I feel like if you, like, with this format, nobody will take the 2020 NBA championship seriously. Like, hypothetically, if like the Knicks were in this format and it was their
They would
first
be.
title in
Actually, they
40
would be.
years. Oh, really? I haven't looked
Yes,
at
they'd be the
They
12
wouldn't
seed,
actually
so
win
they're
now. They have
Wow.
literally no chance
They
to
would
win.
be
So,
in the play-in tournament.
Possibility
then,
to go
huh?
to the
if the Knicks
playoffs.
somehow ran the tables and won, and this was their first
disgusting.
NBA title in like 40 years, nobody would hold it to that much except Knicks fans.
Yeah.
because it was a play-in tournament with teams that shouldn't have never been in the playoffs in the first place. So like this whole like I think it would just be for entertainment purposes.
So I think you're right, and I completely agree with you. My personal opinion on basketball is that is what they should be doing. I don't think just canceling the season is the right way to go. Obviously, people need some sort of enjoyment to get to this coronavirus. I have
All we have
already
is the
lost my
draft.
mind. I've gone completely insane.
Yeah, the
So
draft.
All we
without
have right now.
sports, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So
Actually, the UFC's still going on.
Yeah,
That's
in a
true.
private island.
stuff like boxing
Yeah.
and things like that.
Yeah,
That's pretty
finalize that
cool.
soon.
I watched
Yeah.
bowling yesterday.
Hey,
That's sad.
bowling's pretty fun.
It was on like ESPN2 or something like that.
I'll tell you one
And-
thing. I was not tuned into that channel.
See, the reason why that sport's still going on is because no one goes to watch.
Yeah, there's no fans, and
Yeah,
you're
so
pretty
they're
far
able
away
to
from-
keep it going.
You're pretty
Yeah,
far away
exactly.
from. That's why I was confused about the Masters. Like, with the one sport you don't need fans, it's golf. Like, there's times where you hold up a sign where it's like silence, you can't speak. The players are never closer than 6 feet from each other. So I don't
What about the
understand. like,
caddies too? Them and the caddies
other
and
than the
then
caddy.
You could say the
Obviously,
same thing about tennis, though, as
carry your
well.
own bags.
tennis.
Um, Tennis, you could also do. You can make a case for. So I don't understand.
What about
some
doubles?
sports where
They'll,
Just
they'll
is
be
still-
6 feet apart from
this
each other.
is still technically the coronavirus episode, so I don't mind talking about this stuff. I don't think that stuff like that should have been canceled. I understand you want to keep the safety of your players, but the golf courses, the hole to the green sometimes is 300 yards. You have so much area. You can put people all over the place. You're not going to get hit with a golf ball, and you're still 6 feet apart from someone. You don't need fans. You really don't. So stuff like that, I don't know why it's canceled. Whereas UFC, which you just brought up, is still being played because as you can test the boxers before they get into the match, make sure no one is sick or anything, and then you're going to beat the
Yeah.
shit out of each other. And I think, honestly, that's probably the best way to do it and to go into it in that kind of way.
Well, it's also kind of hard now because, like, I know the guy from Russia. What's his name? Khabib. What's his name?
Khabib.
Khabib. That's his
Yeah,
name. He
Khabib.
can't because a lot of people can't leave their country or whatever. So it's gonna be
Yeah,
hard to
it's
True.
do that kind of sport.
Yeah, and what's interesting too is like also with the UFC is like the WWE is doing it too, which is like kind of weird. Like they
By the way, it's just so awkward to see WWE and like NXT and all that with no fans. It's just awkward. It's so
Oh, yeah.
weird.
Yeah, like I was watching WrestleMania
Yeah.
on Sunday, and I just heard two guys moaning and groaning. I was like,
all right.
this is not
But I
right.
don't watch that sport.
It's because there's no fans cheering, so all you heard was the two guys moaning and
Well,
groaning.
Did you
Although-
guys see that? Did you
Fighting
guys
each
see that
other, so I'm
commercial
like, this is weird.
from
Which one?
WWE when it was like with Daniel Bryan? It was like, without you, there's no us. You remember that freak commercial?
No clue what you're
No.
talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, Brian? That's literally what we're in right now.
Is he
Yeah, I
frozen?
know.
Oh no.
Yeah,
he's
but no,
not
the
anymore.
weirdest
I thought
thing
you
is
were
that,
supposed
like, back
to
to what
get
Tyler was saying. I mean, like, one takeaway that about, like, with the no fans that you've noticed, like, so obviously WWE is, like, it's scripted. So, like, because you can't hear the fans, you're able to, like, see the,
the fakeness.
like, you're able to
You can already see
hear
that.
the wrestlers talk to each other.
No
Yeah.
one can see that.
It's even weird.
And then, like, you see when they botch moves and stuff, because, like, they're not actually punching, they're using, like,
You
their
can
forearm.
see that without the fans, Brian.
You can't because the fans aren't in the way.
Hear it, you know?
Yeah, you can see it with the fans.
How, like, you hear it, too. Like, you can clearly tell because the cameras zoom in since there's no longer fans.
They do that, and I've watched some wrestling thing.
Oh no,
Like,
Bert's
for, like,
frozen
5
too.
seconds
Okay,
life.
there it is.
It was the most fakest
5
shit I've ever seen.
seconds.
Doesn't matter how many fans, whatever. It's just fake. I'm sorry.
Ramos, can you check how much
Oh,
time
yeah.
is left
Yeah.
on the Zoom meeting?
It still says 40 minutes on my screen.
Well, I haven't gotten the notification for 10 minutes, which means we may be done with sports for now, but guess what? It's still coronavirus time. So we're going to be talking to you about all the stuff that we've been doing to get ourselves through coronacation. So we'll start with you, Bert. You came from sunny San Diego.
Why
I
would
did.
you come
Stuck here.
Why would you
with
come
the
here?
second highest coronavirus confirmed cases. How are you making do?
I don't know. I got a lot of work because I still have fucking Zoom classes and online shit to do. Then in my free time, I've been hitting up the Wii. You know, got the Mobile Power Pros going. Man, best game of all time.
Oh, dude,
Okay.
Mario Super Sluggers.
What?
Oh,
I have that as well.
my.
Oh, that's
Damn.
When this
best
game's
game.
over, you're all coming over, and you're gonna play Mario Super Sluggers, and we're gonna have a damn good
You gotta
time.
be 6 feet away from each other.
6 feet.
Well, no, I said when this is over.
Oh, I thought you meant when the Zoom calls
a
over.
Yeah, I
window
thought you
right
meant with the
there.
Zoom call.
There's a window which leads right to the TV, so we could be standing outside 6 feet away from each other while still playing.
Yeah, but I'll be inside. You can stand outside.
This is my house.
I'm gonna overrule your house.
Tyler, how about you? I know you don't travel for college. You go to school in state. So same with you.
Well, I still
Sean.
travel, just not as far as you
You
guys.
take a 5-minute drive to your classes.
Yeah, still traveling, isn't it?
How did you guys how have you been changing to this whole corona situation? So I know, Sean, you are a little bit different because you've been living on campus, but Tyler, you have been living in your house really. So how has the change
Yes.
affected you?
Nothing has changed.
So, oh wait, you're not asking me?
I'm asking you specifically, Tyler.
Okay. So actually, it did kind of change a little bit since now my classes are on Zoom, so I don't have to wake up as early to get to class.
So that's it, huh?
It's actually funny because my last meeting with my English class, my teacher had a timer. You know how like we have a timer for Zoom,
Yeah.
and she was like, this much time left. Well, she doesn't know how to use that. So like our classes are always 10 minutes long. She doesn't want to go past the time. So I'm like, all right, this is fine. And then I finally got Netflix.
Yes.
That's it's a big step, I know, for you.
Big
Yeah,
step in the
'cause
right direction.
Yeah, because literally there's nothing else to do in the house other than watch Netflix or play video games. Madden, my favorite game. Trying to
Yep.
get to my 99 overall team. It's coming. But
Right,
back to Netflix. I was able to finish my first series on Netflix.
Hey.
Hey.
Yeah. All American.
Let's get a round of
Ver-
applause.
Yeah.
Hey.
All American's a great show. I recommend
gonna-
it.
Comment on this. I started Sunday night and I finished tonight. By the way, I stayed up to
Wow. Yeah.
I stayed up to 3 a.m. last night to watch it.
It took me 2 days to watch the whole
It's
the
so
whole,
good,
2
right?
series.
It is
Alright,
so
Two or
glad I
good.
three.
put you guys
Two.
on. Glad I
Well,
put you-
moving on to Sean now, because you were the next person. You kind of lived in state because you were in Marist. Just kidding, you're in Ryder. I lied. You go to Ryder, Ramos and Marist. So how was it kind of the transition coming back because you're still in state, so it's not like a
Yeah.
lot of stuff has changed because you're still
Mm.
here. But it has been kind of a step for you. So how has that been for you?
You see, when I was at school, I watched no TV. Now I'm watching it on my freaking laptop. I'm charging my laptop like 4 times a day because
Yeah.
I'm just watching freaking Netflix.
That's a vibe.
Yeah, school's kind of the same. Pain in the ass. For my exam, I think your exam is like this too, where they're making you actually show up in the Zoom call and shit.
Yeah.
Only one of
Yeah.
my professors is like that. The other ones you don't care. They don't really care. I have 2 papers to write and stuff like that, but other than that, it's kind of chill.
Yeah, I also
Well,
have
it is
2 papers.
currently
Sucks.
almost midnight, so maybe you should go do that, Sean.
No, I don't have paper due tonight. I say
Okay.
in the future.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
not next week, but the week after, which I'll
Yeah,
start. Like
I got a research paper I gotta do.
I do have to write a 2-page paper by tomorrow, but it's like not really that bad.
Okay, well, 2 pages isn't that bad. You can knock
Yeah.
that out in like half.
I don't
an
have
hour.
class tomorrow, so I'll wake up at like 12 or whatever noon.
You can wake up whenever you want.
That's big facts.
Yeah. Oh, also
Um,
I had an 8 a.m. this semester, and I literally I'm so happy that I don't have to wake up at 8 a.m. Like literally, my body was suffering so bad.
maybe you
I
just
had
go to
a-
sleep
Just for
early.
getting up.
I go to bed. I used to go to bed at
you
like
go.
10 o'clock,
Shit.
Wow.
and I used to
Really?
wake up at 7, and I just couldn't do it anymore.
That's 9 hours. How is that not okay?
It was not okay, but now I
You
get
need
to
8
sleep.
hours. I sleep for 7 hours.
I don't know. This Corona thing helped me with that.
Hmm.
True.
I've also been
nothing
able
else.
to do more research on the football prospects coming into the league as well.
Yeah, Isaiah Simmons going to the Giants.
No. We just listen,
Yeah.
Sean. You weren't here for our mock draft yesterday, so you don't get to decide
Hey,
anything
Tyler,
about it. You
I'm
don't
just
get
letting
to
you
have
know,
an
Tua
opinion.
ain't going to the Dolphins, buddy. Tua ain't going to the Dolphins.
All right,
I'm just letting you
so-
know
That's
that.
what you think.
Can we
That's what you
stop?
think.
We're getting off topic. This is a coronavirus episode, not a draft episode.
I'm
I
just
mentioned
saying.
the coronavirus,
So
how it's affecting me.
how it's
How is it
Tyler.
affecting you?
So, we have 10 minutes left. So I
And
suppose
my sperm rate's been low these days.
Okay,
You
Yeah, 'cause
know,
you're not
cutting
working
being stuck
out.
in the house.
certainly
Well,
cutting that part
whatever.
out.
Then
Uh,
you could increase it. There's like things you could do. to
Sean,
increase-
shut up.
Increase it?
Ramos, how is your
Yeah,
transition?
you could-
been
if you
You know,
like-
there's
from-
stuff,
Yeah,
John.
I was
You
finally
gotta
waiting
buy Blue
for-
Sea Chew.
Can
It'll
I
make your
mute-
dick harder for like 10.
Yes, you can.
What is it?
All right, so I was finally waiting. Thank you, Ryan.
Bitch,
Yeah,
So
I
the way
you don't
I've
mute my
handled
ass.
the way I've
Get the
handled
fuck
my transition is so at Marist it's like different. Like we don't have any Zoom calls for our classes. We kind of just like we don't have any
Do
classes
anything.
in general. Actually, our professors post the work. They give us a deadline. And we obviously have to do the work before that deadline. So,
Right.
but all I've been doing honestly is just played PS4 and watched Netflix. I finished season 2 of All American. I finished Tiger King. That was interesting. Carol Baskin, she definitely killed her husband
What a
Oh,
bitch.
whoa.
What a bitch.
What a bitch.
Spoilers.
and fed her
Spoilers, guys.
and fed her
Spoilers.
husband to the tigers. I definitely believe that happened. And then
Well, I don't even need to watch the show anymore.
I watched the Big Show because I'm a big WWE guy. But now I'm just honestly I'm chilling. Not really any responsibilities because we can't leave the house either. So I'm just chilling.
Well, you did
sleeping
go to
in.
Dunkin' today.
So,
So, you know.
I actually am going to disagree with Ramos. I literally leave my house every day. But it's
Good for
not.
you.
It's not. Shut up, Sean.
You're
Let
going.
me speak.
You're going to party. You're partying.
I muted you. You're not talking.
Partying with himself.
So I go out for like a walk around the neighborhood, typically like 2 miles. I'll go on a bike ride. I'll go to the high school sometimes and hop a fence so I can work out on the track because I actually like doing that. I found that I work out just as much at home as I have at school, just not as much. Like I've worked my core and my legs a lot more, but I can't actually do half the shit I used to at school. But it's the only way to not feel trapped, honestly. Like I found that I play video games a lot more. I never ever watched live television when I was at school, and I came home and it's like, oh, what's on ESPN? And it's just like it's such a transformation. But I can finally get half decent bagels. So for those of you who don't know, I used to
Can you
be in
explain
Massachusetts.
that?
'cause
Can
I
you
go to
explain the
school up there.
bagels in Massachusetts?
What?
Explain the reason why they're so bad.
Oh, so
Explain the reason.
let
I'm
me
interested.
compare. You get your Jersey bagel, right? That's how a bagel
Yeah.
should taste.
Yeah.
It's got it's got richness, it's got the grains and everything, and it's toasted to perfection. It's beautiful.
Mm.
And then I go to Mass. The bagels are, even if you toast it for however long, I've burnt a bagel and it was still chewy. It's disgusting.
Wow.
It doesn't, the way they do it is they use a different type of water than what New York and New Jersey does, which is why the water is actually the reason that the bagels taste so good down here. I'm not joking, Bert. You think I'm joking, but people have actually exported New York water to be used at a bagel
Wait,
shop.
So wait,
somewhere else.
does that mean the
Bizarre.
bagels? Hold on, this is not a shout out. If anyone takes offense, does that mean the bagels are bad in Flint? I'm just.
Oh,
I'm just
Sean.
saying.
And wait, and what?
That was a low blow,
I had
Sean.
to put that out there.
Sean,
I'm sorry.
you can't be saying that.
I'm sorry.
Good guess. I would imagine they're not very
Yeah,
good.
sort of our Flint fans, you know. Sorry about that one.
Yeah,
Kuzma.
shout out to our Flint boys. So yeah, it's just I can finally get half decent bagels. I can get what else is really good down here that's not good up there? Pizza. Oh my god.
Oh,
Pizza up there. I've had better pizza down the shore than I ever had at like a fine pizzeria in Massachusetts. Like it's not good. Even the mass-produced pizza from like Three Brothers on Seaside's Boardwalk is 10 times better.
They're just known for shitty food then. Massachusetts.
And shitty teams.
Yeah.
We
Shitty
can't really talk about their
quarterbacks.
sports teams. They literally won 3 championships one year.
That was luck.
Belichick.
Yeah, so we have
5 minutes.
6 minutes left.
By the
Actually,
way, if anyone wants to see a WWE episode, click that like button down below.
Actually, that's not going to be helpful. Drop a comment. Say if you want a WWE
Or do
episode
that.
because
Yes.
these two over here were itching to do one. I literally know nothing about it, and I don't think I would want to do any research about it. So they'd be doing their own episode. Me, Bert, and Sean would probably
No, Sean
just,
would be in it. Sean knows.
I'll be in it.
Okay,
I'll watch
well
it
then
if they're doing
Bert and I
one.
would probably just be sleeping, if I'm honest.
I'll make fun of it for you guys.
Okay.
I'll be
I
the
appreciate it.
truth
But yeah,
teller.
so
You'll be Stephen A. Smith.
we think
sure.
that's going to be the end of it for us.
So
Thank you
hold
guys so
on,
much
one
for tuning
thing,
in.
one
That's
thing, one thing.
blasphemy.
So for bagels, right? You're going to get a bagel in Massachusetts. Do they
We
say
just need
Taylor
a food
Ham pork
episode for
roll?
Sean.
They don't
Kid
have
always talks
either of
about
them.
food.
Dude,
Kid
I get yelled
loves
at so
food.
much for saying pork roll. I mean,
Don't say pork roll.
I mean Taylor Ham.
You
What the
asked?
fuck?
No, you're kicked. Bye,
I'm
Sean.
done. I'm leaving. I'm
Bye,
leaving. No,
Sean.
I'm really leaving. Bye, guys.
I stopped your video for you.
Yes.
Um,
Why did I say fucking pork roll?
You can still hear him.
I'm fucking with these fucking Central Jersey.
so,
There we go.
Sean,
You
no.
can't stop me.
Sean accidentally left the chat. Oh no.
You can't stop me.
Bye, Sean. No. So now we're just gonna start over, but I'm gonna end it off. But I am gonna answer Sean's question.
Guess who's back?
They don't have
Huh?
either of those. They don't have Taylor ham, so they can't call it either of those things. I can
Yeah.
ask for bacon, but the bacon's
Mhm.
always soggy because it's like mass produced always because I
Uh-huh.
eat from a cafeteria really.
Yeah.
But really, other than like the food being way worse, Mass is not that much different from like New York. It really isn't. Other than the
Today is a lot
accents.
different.
There's
the
a lot
accents-
different. The accent.
The
Like
accent's about it.
Boston.
Yeah.
Fucking wicked. It's nuts up there. But not everyone talks like that. Not everyone talks like Mark Wahlberg.
Really?
Nope.
No, not everyone. It's weird. I know a lot of people who don't talk like that. But the differences in states is time for another episode. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, make sure to click that like and subscribe button. We are done for today, and we'll be coming at you again sometime next week or later this
Hopefully.
week, depending on when this
Maybe.
gets uploaded. I don't know. I have to edit it first.
do.
So thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you guys next time. See ya.
Adios.
See you next one.
Adios.
So, yeah.